Good morning. Welcome to School Corner with Jakessss. Okay, on this platform, we talk about school and school-related issues. We talk about learners' performance, learners' improvement, school owners, teachers, everything that has to do with school. Okay, so we have been for this series, we've been talking about things that teachers should not do in the classrooms. The reason it's important that we know some of these things is because somebody can be a qualified teacher by a certificate but may not know the act of teaching. And so when they want to teach, or when they want to go into the class or discharge their duties, they do some things that they're not supposed to be doing as professional teachers in the classroom. So we mentioned this because these things too, if they do them, they have drastic effect on the learners, which is not helping them academically. For today, the first thing that I'm going to mention that teachers do in a classroom that is not good is to depend on textbook only as a material for teaching. As a teacher, you are not supposed to depend on textbook, the recommended textbook alone as a tool for your teaching, for your classes. The reason is funny is because the students you are teaching, they have pretty much knowledge now in everything you're going to be teaching them, because of this is technology age. Children are now more exposed than before. Now, anything that you're going to teach children, you need to make sure that you have done enough research. You have combine and compare notes, compare tests to be able to pull out all the information that are required in that particular subject, so that when you come to class, you are grounded, and then you're also very in a better position to answer whatever question any child will pull out on you, so they will not be surprised. So depending on your textbook alone to teach is completely wrong. Number two things teachers do in the classrooms that is not very good is that they set unfair class rules. Class rules are a set of guidelines that you use to control the activities of pupils and students in the class. Now, a teacher is not now supposed to take it to the extreme. That's number one. Number two, a teacher is not supposed to set any rule that will affect the academic activity of the child. Very, very wrong. Now, let me give you an instance. Some teachers will say, if you do this, the punishment is that while I'm teaching, you'll be outside. That's wrong. Some teachers will say, if I give you assignment and the following day you don't submit it by 8 or by 9 or by this, don't bring it again. That's wrong. Now, why are they wrong? It's wrong because these are these very things that the parents are paying for the children to come to school to do, to learn. And then you're now, because of a set of rules you want to create, you're now depriving them. Now, I know that sometimes some pupils and learners and students may be difficult, okay? So what you do is you use other method of discipline on them and not to deprive them these academic activities. That will be very, very out of place. Don't do it as a teacher. The next thing that teachers do, which I think they should check, some teachers do what they call continuous sitting. The teacher comes to class and sit down from morning to when the school dismissed. They don't stand up, they don't do nothing, they give out the instructions sitting down. That's completely wrong. If you sit down for a long time, you won't know what's going on in the entire class. Your eyes will not be able to see every corner of the class to notice which child is copying well, which child is not copying well, which child is distracting, and on all the rest of that. If you're a teacher and you come to work for a particular day and you're not feeling very fine, you can excuse yourself and go and maybe take a nap and come back, and not to stay in the class and lie down in the class and sleep in the class while the kids are there. That's completely unprofessional. A teacher should not do continuous teaching. It's very, very wrong. The other thing that teachers do in the class that they're not supposed to do is that teachers should not eat in the classrooms. You should not eat in a classroom. Anytime a teacher wants to eat, they can excuse themselves and go outside and eat, or go to the canteen or go to the office and eat, and then come back to the class. Or the only time that a teacher can eat in the classroom, two situations, is when no child is in the class, and sometimes it's rare for no child to be in the class at some point, or when all the children are eating. When your children are eating, then and there you can say, okay, it's time for you to also eat, so that everybody is concentrating on their food and they are eating. If you are a teacher and you are eating when children are in the class, they're going to be looking at you, or some of them are going to be salivating, and remember, it's not also good to share your food with your children. So what are you going to do, in that situation? You are not supposed to entice them with food. So you wait, or you go outside and eat, or you eat when they are also eating. The next thing I want to mention for today, things that teachers do in the classroom that are very, very wrong, is that some teachers come to class dressing sexually. They dress in a way that will, seduce their learners. Now, knowingly or unknowingly, as a teacher, you should come to class very completely well dressed, formally dressed, and then make sure that your dressing is not in any way going to provoke sexuality around the class, or make the children to lose concentration or focus on what you are teaching and be focusing on you. Check your dressing, whether you're a man or a woman. Check your dressing, check all the corners, make sure things are in place, things are where they're supposed to be. There's no window opening anywhere for children to look through and see something. Make sure that you are properly dressed before you can stand before the children to teach them. The other thing that teachers do that are completely wrong is that sometimes you see that teachers engage their learners in sexual relationship. Do not entice your children and put them in a sexual relationship. You're not supposed to do that, because if you do that, you will compromise the teaching they are coming to teach in the class. It's going to affect, other children in the class. If you have a sexual intention or a relationship towards a particular student or learner in the class, you're going to be partial. It's going to affect what's going on in the class. It's going to also even distract the particular learner involved, and then things are not going to go well. Now, what you do, if you must have a relationship with your learner or student, whatever, do it outside. Wait when school dismissed. Don't show it. Remember, we're talking about what you show in the classroom. Don't show it. Don't proclaim it. Don't let everybody know. You find a way to hide it if you must do it. But otherwise, you should not do a relationship with your child. You are the child or a learner or a student you're supposed to teach, and then you're now having a sexual relationship with that child in such a way that you're having something going on between you and the child that is not proper. These are things teachers should not do. Okay, now we're going to continue to build on things that teachers should not do in the classroom, and then see how far we are going to go before we now go live, where everybody is going to have opportunity to contribute and ask questions. Thank you, and see you again tomorrow. Bye.